we'll begin our robots by just using shapes. We're going to build them out of shapes, and then just like we discussed in the introduction to this lesson, we will be painting them to create shadows and highlights and make forms. So to start your robot, you're going to have a few handouts on your table to look at to get some ideas, but all you have to do is think of a few basic shapes. I'm going to start by using a big rectangle for a head. I'm going to move down and make another rectangle that's smaller to paint part of his neck, and then I'm going to make a big circle to create a body. Now that is a good place to start, with a head, a neck, and a body. From there, you can just start adding shapes and different lines to build onto your robot to make arms and all the other body parts. It's okay if you don't fit your entire robot on your paper. It's okay if some of your robot ends up off the edge of your paper. Like for example, if you don't have room for his entire leg, it's okay if you draw it off the edge. After I make some basic shapes for arms, I'm going to start connecting them with lines, just like this. Same thing in the neck. And you can also add very basic details. You just want to kind of draw in where you want the mouth to be. Maybe go ahead and draw in your robot's eyes. But we are going to be painting this in several different stages, so you don't want to get too detailed just yet. You just want to add a few different things, and then later on, after our robot's painted gray, we'll add a lot of the different details that we've already discussed. So I'll go ahead and finish up this robot, and then we'll discuss painting. My robot is fully drawn. I have built him out of shapes. The next step is to fill our robot in with a gray metal color. So all I'm going to do, we're going to have these buckets of gray paint on our table, and everybody will have a paintbrush. I will give you some large paintbrushes and small paintbrushes. Remember, large paintbrushes are for big areas and small paintbrushes are for little areas. And all we're going to do is fill in the body of our robot. You want to make sure you get all the parts painted gray, because in a little bit we're going to add highlights and shadows. So we want a good gray metal base so that all of that shows up later. I'm just going to be very careful when I paint. I'm going to try to paint in nice smooth strokes. I'm not moving my brush all around like this. I'm trying to paint in nice long strokes. When you get close to one of your Sharpie lines, kind of sneak up on it. Slow down with your brush and just kind of sneak up a little bit so you get right up next to that line, but you don't necessarily paint over it. I'm going to finish painting in this whole robot, and then we'll talk about the next step.